Artwork, critiques, Photoshop files, and reference sheets are all available on my Patreon. Well, hello there guys and girls, I hope you're all doing bloody well. My name's Mikey and welcome along to another episode of Draw with Mikey, episode 147. Happy New Year, you beautiful and lovely individuals. Thank you so much for clicking on this video and listening in. 2020 is finally over and we can reach forward and enjoy a fresh new start to things and business. How is your new year, guys? It's lovely to see you. For those of you not in the know, this is the super casual rambling series where basically I'll just update you with whatever's going on at my end, and really it's my opportunity to touch bases with you guys by reading through the comment section below. So if you've got any thoughts, feeling, feedback, suggestions for anime, video games, basically any topic is totally fine. Get yourself into the comment section below. With any luck, I'll be reading it next time around. And of course it goes without saying, grab yourself a lovely cup of tea if you can, if maybe you're getting your own artwork done for the next hour. Delicious. And we will just dive right in. So guys, what is going on? What is the future of Mikey Mega Mega? Firstly, let's talk about this very Draw with Mikey series. Draw with Mikey 150 is absolutely going to be a live YouTube event. I can't wait. I've got loads of tablets lined up. We're going to be doing loads of giveaways. It's going to be a laugh and we'll draw some hot waifus or something, you know, like we do. But also the Draw with Mikey series in general is not going to be weekly for a while. I'm going to actually just slim it right down, maybe put it out every couple weeks, every month, something like that. Just more as a kind of like update session where I can obviously read through your comments and see what's going on with you lovely people, but also because there's some other things that we need to focus on. Number one, many tutorials. Guys, we've got such a long list of tutorials and other things that I want to kind of share and teach you and just kind of see what we can do with artwork, that I need to kind of free up a bit more time to kind of work towards those. There's my other, oh, by the way, guys, I'm going to be reading through your comments. This is me just doing my kind of rambling catch-up thing. There's going to be more focus back on Filmgram and stuff like that. I have a second gaming channel where, you know, we do video games. Okay, that one's a bit more obvious. Links in the description below for everything, of course. And there's another kind of bit as well, is that the Draw of Mikey series is something that I started because I want to have a connection with you guys. I don't just want to spew out content onto the internet and kind of, you know, not get a feel for things. So reading through your comments and kind of hearing your feedback and stuff has been really valuable. It's also helped guide what I even do on the channel because I'm kind of obviously listening to your suggestions and stuff. But recently, over the last few years, I've really been getting my fix, so to speak, of touching bases with you guys and having a conversation with you guys over on my Twitch channel, just because that's always live, so we just have a straight up chat and chill out and have a bit of fun, and that's kind of scratching the itch for me when it comes to actually kind of touching bases and creating a connection with some of you lovely people. So I would strongly recommend, if you guys still like artwork happening in the background whilst you're getting your own stuff and thing done, I do strongly recommend that you follow my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/mikeymegamega, where, well, we do drawing and play video games and all that stuff and thing. So the DWM is by no means whatsoever stopping, but it's just slowing down the regularity just a little bit so that we can get loads more tutorials done over this year. I'm very excited to be doing all of that stuff. What else? Yes, in the background of today's piece, I am certainly working on Noelle, the last of our Genshin Impact trio from the end of last year. I'm not actually playing Genshin at the moment because you might have probably noticed if you follow this channel, I've moved over to some hardcore cyberpunking, and we are kind of taking a look at the cyberpunk ladies, but I'm trying to kind of mix it up at the moment, so I'm trying to do them in a slightly different style, not quite just, you know, buxom curvy anime as ever, just as a bit of an art break or a shift towards how I approach things. Now the subject matter is always still the same, hottie waifus, but just how I go about it is a little bit different, and because of that it's not something I'm used to doing. So once again I'm back in the learning stage, which is just like it's not instantaneously working. I feel like I'm hitting my head against a brick wall, but it of course happens, so we'll see how we go with that. However, as for Noelle, right now on screen you're just going to see how I actually get things done in the slightly more traditional, clean anime style. So follow along if you're into that sort of thing. She was the rewards pack for the August patrons of last year as part of that Patreon catch-up. Oh, it's all going so swimmingly well, guys. I just stopped doing any work to play Cyberpunk for most of Christmas. Guys! How was your Christmas? What did you get up to? Now, I know, obviously, it's a bit of a COVID-y time. It's a bit of a lockdown-y experience right now in society. But I hope, it was as good as it possibly could be. And I hope you guys are feeling as fresh as I am for the upcoming new year. But with that in mind, at the end of this episode, I, of course, just have a little bit where I say a great big thank you to all of those delicious patrons on Patreon. But because this is the August catch-up, instead of shouting out the December patrons like you'll see at the end of the video, I just want to reach all the way back in towards the end of last summer and just shout out some of the highest tier people who've offered me their sweet support so I can keep making all this content for free basically on YouTube. And that includes Dan, 5luck97, Charles L, Angus, Nathan, Traylon B, Tatiana L, MEF, is it Meth? Justin J, Danny S, and Humong Chi L. You guys are so handsome and obviously part of the hardcore crew tier on the old Patreons. It's lovely to have you along for all of this journey, of course. So, other than that, any other bits? Yes! Okay, so on Twitch, I'm going to be doing regular tablet giveaways now, probably once a month, because I've got a back catalogue of tablets in my house, so we are just getting rid of all of those, as well as live here on YouTube for the Draw of Mikey episode 150. Because that episode is now part of a Draw of Mikey series, which isn't weekly, episode 150 will probably go back a little bit. It'll be in February and or March, if I had to guess. Early March at the latest. We also hit some goals on Twitch as well. We hit 666 subs on Twitch, which means we're doing a Hail Satan live stream at some point. Hail Satan. Don't ask me about it. That's just something that's happening. And then we'll kind of push for a robot mega, get some stuff going on Discord. Basically just doing all the things and expanding and having a little bit of fun. And yes, you lovely people, I will eventually be doing a Gumroad as well once Patreon is all sorted out. And that is about it. So, of course, if you've got anything to say, thoughts, feedback, questions, anything at all, do get in the comments. I will finally, I'm so sorry for having such a rambling long catch-up thing, but it's a fresh year, guys, come on. And also, did I say that this was a super casual series? So there's no editing, you just get my rambling train of thought. Let's have some tea. Oh my god, do you know what? I always get reminded when I do a DWM session, I still haven't finished JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 4. So keep your excellent anime suggestions coming. But, oh my god, that list is getting so long. Also, is anybody getting fit for the new year? We've all been shut in our houses. Is that even a thing? Or are we all turning into blobs and potatoes? Or is it just me? I mean, I'm 3 years deep on that potato life, but anybody else dropping down to my level? So, what's going on with you lovely people? In the comments section of DWM146, Lemon Lime says, at 43 minutes 15 seconds into the last episode, who's gonna tell him? Who's gonna tell him? Alright, one quick sec, sorry. I'm just gonna have a quick... Venti's dialogue is mind-numbing. I can't stand Venti. Sure, she's hot and I'll bang her, but I can't stand listening to her. I used to have a girlfriend like... Oh, Venti... Yeah. Oh, yeah, okay. Oh no, how embarrassing. Yeah, okay, so I've subsequently, over the months, I have been advised that Venti from Genshin Impact, that really annoying girl that I can't stand, is actually a boy. So I'm glad I worked that out now instead of working that out later. Yeah, guys, my apologies. So Venti isn't a really annoying girl. He's actually a really annoying boy. So I'll try to come off a banter about trying to bang him. Guido Mister says, fun fact, Rohan actually has his own side stories where he's the main character. Yo, is Rohan the dude... now I'm assuming, because of all the subject matter of what we're drawing in the background, I'm assuming we're mostly talking about Genshin Impact stuff. Is Rohan the guy with the red hair who's kind of like... I think he might work in trading illegal goods on the underground. He might be a bit of a, flamey black market boyo of some sorts. And in fact, do you know what? Because I've put Genshin Impact down for quite a while now, because of Cyberpunk and stuff, there's loads more fresh waifus and pools and things. Basically, are people still playing Genshin Impact? Is Genshin Impact still the thing that everybody wants to put their time into? Let me know. And if it is still genuine... Because, again, look, I'm not here to hate, but one of the issues about Genshin Impact for me is that I was only playing the game because I wanted to see what waifus I could end up pulling. I didn't mind the fact that you could stack really cool combinations of people's powers. So kind of ruining the enemies by freezing them and then electrifying them and then doing like elemental attacks. All those combos were fun. But the reason why I was enjoying those combos was just to do whatever I needed to do to pull more waifus. And what I'm kind of getting at here is that there wasn't like a core character driving narrative that actually made me care about the game. So I played that for, I don't know, about 20-25 hours. Pulled some waifus, we did some fan arts, thus Noelle on screen, she's our final one. As you can probably tell with the clean anime style, I've slightly changed up her outfit a little bit as well. I've removed, well, basically I show more skin. That's kind of how we do things around here. We get things a little bit more popping. But I kind of wonder if Noelle doesn't get enough love, because everybody automatically gets her as a character very early on. And then pretty quickly people probably just cycle her out for somebody a bit more exciting. So we wanted to show that combat Maid a bit of, a bit of time for us here. Oh, also, it's the year of the ox, ? Which means I've noticed a lot of people on social media are drawing their characters and OCs as cowgirls, which is vaguely on topic. Now, we have 2 original characters ourselves, so maybe I do need to get on a bit of cowgirlification of Danny and Victoria. And if I do such things, I will be keeping that very much in the anime busty theme themed. Right now, the experimenting I'm doing with the cyberpunk ladies, T-Bug, Judy, and Evelyn. Oh, poor Evelyn. Spoiler alert. But basically, I don't know how far I'm going to try to push these to completion, because I'm really doing a lot of experimenting right now. We'll see. But basically, guys, long story short, is Genshin Impact still worth playing today? Do I want to pick that back up, or can I just enjoy focusing on other games which are a bit more narrative driven, which tends to be what gets my attention a little bit more anyway? Blazing Hero says, finally, somebody respects Sucrose. Yes, Blazing Hero. So the last episode's waifu was Sucrose. Like I've said, she is my favourite character visually. She's just incredibly cute. She's got nice thick thighs. She's adorable, and I just love her colour palette and her design, and like even her dialogue and stuff is super, super sweet. So yeah, Sucrose needs some attention in my book when it comes to Genshin. Gib War says, my man has to be a Rule 34 artist. I'd be surprised if not, man. This is awesome. Well, Gib War, number 1, thank you very much for the kind comments. Number 2, believe it or not, I am a safe for work artist. Now, I say that with the caveat. The caveat is always Patreon. In order to, pay off a mortgage and live my life on Patreon, nipples might start coming out. And at the hardcore crew tier, the highest tier on there, that is highly experimental. It's for adults only. And I don't want to talk about it, but let's just say things get really freaky over there. But everything else that I do is safe for work. So even like my Instagram or my social media feeds, yes, it's very spicy. I live for the spice. But it's all technically safe for work. Not that I've got anything against Rule 34 artists. They are now the bread and butter of my Twitter feed. I think a few years ago, I was just kind of coming across really interesting artists and people working on various designs, and I'd give them a follow. And then 2 years ago, I started coming across loads of cosplayers and meeting a load of people through Twitch and stuff and giving them a follow. And then about a year ago, I realized that I was just following hentai artists, really, really good, high quality. But yeah, it was all off-brand content. So, I'm not scared of it, but it's not actually my main focus, because the main thing that I want to do, now apologies to anybody who's heard this before, but it's always worth mentioning, especially now at the start of the year. The main thing that I want to do here on this platform is try to get you guys into drawing, to convince you to pick up a pencil and at least give it a shot. Now, I'm not like a fascist. I'm not going to force you to draw if you're not actually personally into it. But I would absolutely 100% encourage you to at least try it. And I mean that to everybody. Young uns, old ones, people who've been drawing when they were younger and given it up. I don't care where you are in your life. I would love for you to give it a go. Now, the thing is we need to get people in. We need to convince people to pick up their pencils and stuff. And I am not scared to use a little bit of thick thighs and busty boobs to draw you in to do it. Like, if that's what gets your attention, and then like kind of gets you into actually giving drawing a try, then fantastic. That's what makes me a happy chappy. So yeah, you'll come for the boobs maybe, but you might end up staying for the drawing tutorials and the fact that drawing is really nice. It can put you into a zen place. It can take your mind off of life's worries for a little bit. Like, you can just totally zone out. You end up creating stuff, which is always really positive, makes you feel quite nice about yourself. The actual act of doing it is usually, now there's a caveat, sometimes it's not, but the actual act of doing it is usually very, very pleasurable, regardless of the end result of actually getting the drawing done and stuff. So like, yeah, like drawing's fucking awesome as far as I'm concerned. Plus the fact that there's so many different styles, so many things to explore, and infinite subject matter. The limit is your imagination and a little bit of your technical ability. So yeah, that's how I sneak them in. Come, look at the boobs. Oh, you enjoy drawing now? Fantastic. My job is done. Anyway, what I'm getting at, sorry, we're rambling a little bit. Let's have a little bit of tea over here. Oh, that's so delicious. Man, I love Yorkshire tea. What I'm just getting at is that equally, I have to keep in mind that I don't want to alienate too many people. I already alienate a lot of people because I do very spicy fan arts, but you know what? I don't really care. I'm going to do what I want to do. And if that doesn't work for you, that's absolutely fine. No worries. But if I spend all my time doing really hardcore stuff, and I have like a very hardcore profile and it's all TNA and things going into other things and there's juice and there's goo everywhere, that's actually going to alienate a lot of people who are not into that, who basically were just a bit curious. Oh, this guy does drawing tutorials, maybe I want to check it out. Oh, it's all a little bit harder than I thought it would be. I'll be on my way. Maybe I don't want to get into drawing after all. So I don't want to put people off. So off-brand stuff, absolutely fine. Do I do it publicly or like make it part of my own personal stuff? Not so much, but the caveat is always cough, cough, Patreon. Shit happens up there. So yeah, that's really the vibe. Now, I've just gone into a really, really, really long answer there for Gib War's comment. But, you know, I might as well just give you the full breakdown details. Yeah, live your life, enjoy what you enjoy, but things around here are actually safe for work because the focus is I just want you to get into drawing. I don't actually want to put anybody off. Mr. Genomac says, oh, someone is also giving Sucrose some love. But I see you've said Sucrose over there very cleverly in the name. Yeah, okay, it looks like we've got a lot of Sucrose fans in chat. I'm very, very pleased. Tom Takeshi says, me, I don't feel like drawing. Mikey, draw a spicy anime girl. Me, staring at the pen and paper intensifies. Yes, Tom Takeshi, that's exactly what I've just been talking about. Fantastic. Gio Wijaya says, my favourite waifu being drawn by one of my favourite artists. What a day. Oh, fantastic, guys. You guys really are too kind, by the way. Let me just sip this. Remember, guys, do get your sweet selves into the comments section below and tell me, how has your Christmas and the break been? What are your plans for this year? Are you feeling pumped about it? Are you just going to think it's being as miserable as 2020 was? Or do you think this is a brand new future? I'm feeling really good. I'm feeling really pro 2021. It's not perfect, obviously, but I just really want to see what this year can do for us, guys. So what about you lot? How have the holidays been? What's going on at your end? And also, good video games, good anime suggestions, please let me know. Also, has anybody got a PS5? I never quite got around to getting one yet. Yaki Sober says, you're the Bob Ross of drawing anime waifus. That is high praise indeed. Thank you very much, kind sir. And KCNQ says, do you have any tips on line thickness and how to improve? I know you've talked about it in a Draw of Mikey way back, but do you have any other tips? Maybe a tutorial? Love your stuff. Yo, Casey, I'm so glad you've asked that question. So, as I've mentioned, a bit more focus this year on drawing tutorials. Now, the paper and pencil drawing tutorials are still exactly what they're going to be. You know what the format is. I quite like it. Although, okay, really quick side note. I made a video just very recently, just before Christmas, about Facebook scams. Like, if you see a super cheap drawing tablet on Facebook with this advert, blah, 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 buy this, it's only like $20, but they're showing you a video for a $400 drawing tablet. Guess what? It's a scam. There is no tablet, blah, blah, blah. I've talked about it in detail. But because of that, many of you people are very kindly noticing on Facebook adverts, Instagram adverts, and so on, where people are stealing my video footage to use it to, sell and or scam, which is great because I'm the only person who can get those taken down. because it uses my footage, or whoever else's footage is also stolen, because it's usually like a compendium of YouTubers' content getting ripped off. Don't worry, this isn't a big moan. It just means that a lot of you people have been DMing me on Twitter or tagging me, which is fantastic. And something that I'd never realised is that there's now, you may or may not know, obviously TikTok, blah, blah, popular. Oh, we'll be TikToking this year. Don't ask me how. I was talking to another live streamer about this. I am currently 36 years old. Oh my God. But, if anybody asks, I'm going to go on TikTok where I'm 26. TikTok's a website for young people, isn't it? It's one of those applications on the telephone. But anyway, there is a Chinese version of TikTok. Now, yes, Mikey, TikTok is Chinese. But in China, you may or may not know, they've got their own version of the closed internet. It's not quite the internet that we access. So TikTok, which is the exact same company, is called something slightly different, but works exactly the same. And it turns out that there's like a Chinese TikTok group that have been ripping almost every single one of the time-lapse sections to all of my drawing tutorials and turning them into adverts to sell their own like online classes and drawing equipment and stuff. And I, being over here in the West, have no access to Chinese TikTok. I can't even access that TikTok like webpage to put down a takedown request and stuff. So this year is going to be the year of more tutorials, definitely. It's also going to be the year of watermarking. I'm so sorry, but we're going to get a bit watermarky. All right, that's just something that's going to happen. There's nothing I can do about it. But where I was actually going, because I'm actually responding to somebody's question, I'm so sorry. Casey, the point is that, yeah, the standard pencil drawing tutorials are still going to be their own thing over the weekends. And during the week, I'm going to be doing a few more digital tutorials, but in order to make them accessible and quick, they're going to be very, very short and very, very topic specific. One tutorial just about making your line art layer pop. One tutorial just about making nice clean lines. One tutorial just about how to get lovely blending done. One tutorial just about, blah, 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 blah. And one of the ones that I've literally got lined up that I want to actually make is very much about how to get clean, smooth lines and also where to apply line thickness. That's two different topics, very similar, but they're going to be two different very short videos. So yes, indeed, we're going to be actually covering that relatively soon. I'm so pleased. Triceratops says, my dude, do Beidou from Genshin Impact. Beidou. Was Beidou the young girl who drops all the bombs? God, it's been a while. Or was Beidou the kind of more ethereal royalty lady with the white hair and the red triangle? Beidou Genshin, one sec. No, she's none of those people. She is a one-eyed, red-dressed Chinese pirate type? Beidou is Bei? Oh, I quite like her character design. Oh my god, she's got nice thighs. Ooh. Oh my god. Do I do more Genshin ladies? Do I do more Genshin Impact ladies? I mean, we can, and I'm kind of down for it. Yeah, she looks pretty good. Wasn't there a Chinese empress who was also the head of a Chinese pirate fleet or something? Am I making it up as a memory? There was a Chinese pirate who had like a 1,400 ship strong fleet. And then he got like a slave, made her his wife, treated her as an equal. She became an excellent pirate captain. He died, and then she took over the fleet. Does anybody... Anyway, I'm just trying to remember something that I saw in a video. Rob says, hey Mikey. Hello there, Rob. Right now I've just started digital drawing and I've hopped into some 7 Deadly Sins fan art. Have you ever watched it? I feel like you might have mentioned it in passing one time, but if you haven't, I would strongly recommend it. It was one of my first anime that I watched and some of my favourite storytelling out there. Starting like a typical Save for Kingdom anime and slowly showing its true darker themes later on. Anyway, your drawings are amazing as ever. Treat yourself with a delicious sip of tea. Hashtag take a sip. Rob, I will. One sec. Let me have more than one. I have talked about this a while ago, but let me give you a very quick recap. I am not currently watching the 7 Deadly Sins. I watched it a little bit of a while ago. I watched like the first handful of episodes and I was like, okay, this is quite nice, but I'm actually a bit more interested in reading the manga. And you're absolutely right. Starts off a bit typical and then gets darker like all the good ones do. Season 2 is always a little bit more troubled and emotional and intriguing, right? You know, we've had Batman Begins and now we need, Batman Dark Knight, Heath Ledger kicks in. But yeah, so how to put it, like, I don't want to go, because I've done this ramble before. I absolutely loved it, very specifically for the knight with the pink hair, because the entire time you're just like, this knight is a dickhead. Like, this pink haired knight is like a real scumbag. I do not like him. I really want the 7 deadly sins to get together and come save the day. And then, as you're coming towards the end of the first major story arc, you're just like, the whole thing's flipped, and you're just like, holy shit, this guy, I want to call him like Rosencrantz, is that correct? You're just like, oh my god, this guy, the entire time, has been doing the one thing that the 7 deadly sins wouldn't. Like, turns out he's actually, not physically, but as in terms of a character and a person and a perseverance, he is stronger than all of the others. Now tell me if I'm wrong, because I'm going off some very old memories here, but it absolutely blew my mind and I loved it, because the 7 deadly sins were like, blah blah blah, we need to split and disappear. And what they basically all did as super powerful creatures or super powerful people and fighters is they left the kingdom, and they just became isolated, and they did their own thing for a while. And the guy I thought was an arsehole was basically the one true knight who actually had the strength to stay. And he stayed in the kingdom, and he stayed in the castle, and yeah, he had to pretend to be an absolute dick the entire time. But he did it because it meant he got to keep an eye on the royalty, he kept an eye on the princess, he did everything that was in his power to protect those that he loved and he'd sworn himself to, even if that meant looking like an absolute dickhead and everybody hating him, including me, until we finally realised what was going on and how he was communicating with Meliodas and stuff. And I was just like, mate! Oh, it blew my mind. Yeah. So, I got right up to the end of that particular story arc where the guy kind of, it's one of those kind of Naruto endings. I will become one with the demons. Aizen Sosake starts to, elicit evil power. And then you realise that guy isn't the guy, and a guy who died earlier in the fight is really that guy, and that guy's gone and released a load of other guys. Now, I'm being very vague here because I don't want to spoil it for everybody. So I just, in the manga, got to the end of that whole story arc where, a load of other guys start coming out of a hole in the ground somewhere. And then I just kind of went, oh, that's a really nice place to stop for now, and never got back to it. Also, I think there's a chapter of Berserk I haven't read yet. So guys, 7 Deadly Sins, Nanatsu no Taizai. Is it worth continuing to read the manga, or has the anime got a second season? Has the anime actually touched further than what I remember watching? How do I want to engage with this? Yo, we've got such a list of amazing things. Road to Artist Try says, hey Mikey, hello there RT80, how you doing, man? I'm a weekly listener of the DWMs. Oh, I'm so sorry, dude, soon to be monthly. I've been here since 2018. Well, it's lovely having you. And I've learned a lot from tutorials and the DWMs, and they give me little tips and hints. Yo, dude, that is lovely to hear, man. I hope you're having a lovely day. I just want to say thank you, and I'm a huge fan of your work. Oh, well, thank you very much. And also a small request, if you don't mind. Can you make the DWM slightly a bit longer? Not much, but maybe 20 minutes or something. Thanks for reading. #hardcore crew. Yo! Now, guys, that is a very good question, one which I want to pose to all of you people, and I'm going to have to remember to ask this question again at the beginning of the next DWM as well. I'm just writing myself a quick note. If I'm going to be making the Draw of Mikey series a little bit less regular, well, regular, but less frequent, is this the best opportunity to make them a little bit longer? Because obviously this is like an hour is a nice window of time. You can put on one of my episodes and you know that by the time I'm done, you've had a cup of tea, you've done some work, you've done some homework or some art, and an hour has passed. But is this a good time to make it closer to 1 hour 20? Just push that envelope a little bit further. I mean, I'd probably have to add like a toilet break into the episode, because as you know, this is all unbroken rambling. But, I could sit here and probably ramble for an hour, 20 minutes instead of just an hour. Dude, that is an excellent suggestion, something I will consider. I'll have to put a poll up on YouTube or something like that. Yo, I think it's feedback time. Guys, the year of 2021 is the year of feedback. I want to hear it all from you. Victor Capel says, for an iPad, I would recommend Clip Studio Paint. It's rather similar to the Photoshop interface, and it's way better since its focus is on illustration and comics. Yeah. I mean, this is an old topic for me. I haven't really gotten to grips with Clip Studio Paint. I really do want to get to grips with Clip Studio Paint, but I currently know how to use Photoshop, and I've got a lot of work to get done, so I kind of just stick with it for now. But it's amazing, it's awesome. Every single person I know who uses Clip Studio Paint absolutely loves it, and as such, I need to get involved. I did not know that it was available on the iPad, though, so that's very interesting. Yo! I have an iPad somewhere to do a review. Oh my god, I need to actually do that because I've sat on this iPad for so long. I haven't taken it out of the box, and this review is going to be so out of date. Lexar Plays Games, Luix, I'm so sorry, says, everything this guy does is exactly what I want to do, except I'm basically a complete beginner and I have no idea how. The shit he does blows my mind and I wish I was incredible as Mikey. What? That's very kind, and also, dude, don't worry, the answer's simple. I used to be terrible at what I do. I'm not great at what I do now, but I've got some competence in some areas, and I have a lot still that I need to learn, because we're all on that drawing journey as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, like, honestly, just look at some of my older content and you'll start to get depressed. You'll realize, like, oh wow, he really was bad. So, dude, persevere, practice well, and dude, you'll get it. It's all just being on that path and trying to kind of work out what you want to do with your life, what you want to do with your skills, and how you want to apply things. Sneezy says, I have a huge problem with angles. Do you have any recommendations? Mostly how to draw bottom angles and top angles. So, you're talking about like the angle of viewpoint, i.e., looking down at characters, looking up at characters, foreshortening and perspective. I have a couple older tutorials about high-angled ladies and low-angled ladies. I recommend giving them a look, but also we will be doing much more about that sort of stuff in the future as well. There's all sorts of other things about boxing, shaping, collapsing curves on top of each other. Yeah, it's all there, but we will absolutely play around with that a little bit more. But that's a really good sign, because if that's something that you're having an issue with, it tells me that you're trying to draw slightly more interesting angles and poses for your characters. You're not just doing super flat on everyday standing still kind of looks, which is always a really good sign. Adding a little bit of dynamics to the camera angle or the viewer angle and the pose, and thinking about like your horizon lines and kind of what you're trying to sell from a character based on how you're portraying them and what kind of atmosphere you want to give them. It's all a lot of fun. Trenchy Timbers says, Mikey, I need your help. I have no idea how to draw the forearm. The forearm or the calf when you bend them. So is that called... That's called arm supplination. Am I correct? Am I miles wrong? Basically, we will do some more arm tutorials. Yeah. There's no... Basically, I don't have an answer that I can just talk to you about right now, because it's really interesting and really messed up. Some people say stuff like, think of links in the chain. Some muscles go along one plane, whilst other muscles then go across the Y or X axis plane, and it all kind of links together from your arm to your shoulder and things. But really, let me just get a tutorial out for you, kind Trenchy Timbers, and that's going to solve a lot of that issue as well. Ariane Martinez, so this was the first, he says, so this was the first DWM where I actually took a peek at the sidebar, and without even putting a single colour, you had like 400 layers. By God! How do you navigate all of them? Many layers make many man a happy boy. God, I have no idea what I just said. Many layers is the future. That is part of the clean anime style thing, which I'm going to talk about in the line art, how to get clean lines, which is... A lot of my lines in a clean anime style, I'm focusing purely on the sweep, the form, the flow, the gesture of the line. I want the shape to be correct, and I want it to be a smooth, fluid action, so those lines feel like they're really flowing and working well together, instead of sitting there and drawing very slowly to create kind of the perfectly placed line, but it's all wobbly and wrinkly, and it just doesn't have that correct energy. So what I do is I tend to sweep out the shape that I want on a fresh layer, and because it's on a fresh layer for even just one single line stroke, I can then move it to be in the position it should be, nudge it, warp it, rotate it a little bit, and then delete the ends, because I'm usually working through the line that I actually want to. Guys, if any of you lovely people out there do martial arts, you'll probably understand this. When you punch someone in the face, or when you're training to punch somebody in the face, you're not trying to punch them on the lips, you're not trying to punch them on the tip of their nose, you're trying to punch all the way through the back of their skull. you're flowing all the way through your target. You're not flowing up to your target. You want to go beyond it with your stripe. And if you want to get really smooth, good, free flowing lines, you kind of want to do the same thing. Like, you might have a relatively short line, which is a flowing curve to put down on a piece, but the line or the gesture I might actually end up putting on the tablet screen. I mean, I'm violently whipping my arm around right now. You can't see me from the shoulder. The line I actually want to put down might be far longer because I want to flow into it and flow out of it. Which is why, again, it usually has to be on its own layer, because I then erase to the start and erase to the end of the line so that, it actually fits the length that it needs to be for wherever I've put it on a piece. Ideally, though, once you've got all those lines down, you can collapse all of those layers together and actually not have to work with over 400 different ones to get something done. But equally, I tried to keep all of my layers separate and keep everything as it is. For those patrons on Patreon, because obviously I give you guys my Photoshop files so that you can see how bad my process is, basically. It gets me artwork and it gets me results. It 110% probably is not the smartest way to do things, but I'm a bit of a stickler for the Mikey method. So yeah, that's why we've got all those layers going on, especially with the clean anime style, where getting those sweeping clean lines is much more important than the painty render method, where we get to just kind of, render and zoom in a bit more and render and zoom in a bit more and so on. Fat Cat says, draw Diona, Kiki, or K-King, please. Now, I'm assuming, Fat Cat, from that suggestion, these are all Genshin Impact ladies. So I'm going to, number one, add them to my notepad file. But number two, Google it. Oh, also Beidou. Yeah, let me add her as well to notepads. Okay, good. Diona, Genshin. Oh! Who's this little pink-haired, little adorable girl? Yeah, she looks a bit young, though. Oh, is this another one of those I'm going to get in trouble with the internet police? Okay. And, wait, where are the other ones? Kiki or K-King? Kiki. Oh, there's loads of adorable little girls now. Interesting. I might just age them up a bit so that they're going to be a bit more, 18. But, oh, she's dead. Oh, she's based on the old school Chinese vampires. Man, that gives me throwbacks to watching some fantastic 80s movies. Ah, okay, yeah. I like all the sound of that. Okay, fantastic. Telemark says, amazing art. Why, thank you, Telemark. I'm pretty sure that Sucrose loves this birthday gift. Wait, when's Sucro's birthday based in the video game? And Couscous Kingpin says, how am I this earlier? Well, you might be part of a notifications crew, in which case, thank you so much. Welcome on in. Let me sip this. Oh, delicious. Let me just sip it a little bit more. And G Bobby says he is finally back. Yes, indeed. We are back. It is 2021. We are doing stuff again. I've just been enjoying having a lovely break and playing video games and obviously focusing on that delicious artwork for you guys. And Leonardo Escobedo says, I'm going to art high school and whilst applying, I have to submit 7 pieces, but only 2 of them can be in a manga or anime style. But it's all that I draw. Leonardo Escobedo, you are skirting around a very interesting topic. Number 1, good luck with your submissions. I hope you have a lovely art journey, obviously. Number 2. Being able to illustrate or illustrating and studying real things from real life, real shadows, how do shadows work, how do values and tones work, etc., is very, very important. Remember that manga and anime is a stylistic method for depicting stuff that's still essentially real. Now, I say real in air quotes. You might be drawing dragons and like super space rocket ships all day long. But when I say real, I mean that an anime style is often still just a way of depicting a hot, busty waifu. An anime approach to drawing stuff is still just an approach to depicting a guy leaping off of a car, firing like a 4-barreled shotgun. Do you know what I mean? It's just another method. It's no, well, obviously visually, yeah, but like, it's as much as cartoons or anything else. So it's very, very important to be aware of the actual subject matter that you're trying to define, not just the method of defining it. So you do want to study vehicles and cars and perspectives and peoples and actual real people and actual real facial structure and how everything is put together to give you an idea of what all these kind of more abstract shapes in an anime or cartoon illustration are actually representing. That foundation is going to give you a lot of good stuff to increasing your own art. It's also going to kind of help you draw as much or as little from the more real subject material as you would choose to in finding and developing your own personal style as well. That sort of thing does not come overnight, but like it all helps in that direction. So when I hear people say like, oh, my art teacher says stop drawing anime and start drawing realism and all that sort of stuff. Personally, I think draw whatever makes you happy, but I do 100% understand what they're getting at and why it is in fact good advice to a degree. I'm not saying stop doing anime, but why it's quite good advice to actually also put a bit of time towards that as well. Now, the other argument, or the counter argument you might say, is if what you want to do with your life is be like an anime illustrator or make a manga, and the only style that you want to work in and work with is manga and anime, then taking an art course from an art teacher who produces artwork in a completely different style than the actual artwork that actually interests you and motivates you, sometimes you could argue, now this is devil's advocate, and I'm not saying, break the school system, don't pay for art courses, it's a waste of money. I'm not saying anything like that. Everybody learns differently. There's pluses and cons to the entire thing. But if you're spending your time and your money and your effort paying towards a course to learn to draw from a teacher who works and teaches in a style which is not the style or the content or the material that you actually personally want to produce yourself, is that a good way to spend your time and resources? Is it? Question mark. Is it? Question mark. Because, getting into art, I'd say in the last 5 years compared to the last 10 is so accessible now. There's never been a better time to start getting into artwork or be interested in making a career in it. Because the resources you have online, even if it's still a paid course, a paid tutorial or reference or a thing, you now have direct access, thanks to the internet, to many, many more artists than ever before who are literally producing the content that you want to emulate or work in a very similar method to. So you can go to your community college and you can sit there and learn how to draw a shoe with a 2B pencil all afternoon long, or you can put your time into drawing exactly the kind of work you want to be actually working towards. Does it give you a shortcut? Or, and by the way, again, I'm really just talking around a topic because it's a fascinating question. Is it basically taking a shortcut to getting the end results that you want? Or are you missing out on the opportunity to experiment a bit more, try stuff that you might not have really considered, and end up producing things and surprising yourself in different mediums and thinking a bit more widely about art because you're doing a course that isn't perfectly on topic to what you want? It's a fascinating thing. Anyway, sorry, dude, I've gone on a ramble again. Long story short, good luck with your submissions. I hope it goes really well. Play Magnificent Gaming says, amazing drawing as always, Mikey. Yo, dude, thank you very much. When it comes to drawing, I always suck at drawing hair. Does anybody have any tips? Yes. No more thick noodles, thank you very much. Please consider hair to be a bit more like thin strips of paper. Just loads of different sheaves of hair in a bit more of a two-dimensional manner, and that will help you break it down, at least the way that I try to think of these things these days. Little Will says, hey boss, I've got to know, how many Patreon matchups do you do in a week? I ain't trying to expose you. Ain't trying to expose you, bruv. Dude, how many? So, in a really good month, I will sort out 3 different months worth of Patreon stuff as part of a catch-up. In a month where I've just living my life or doing something else, it will just be one so that it floats evenly as the monthly Patreon goes. But we're very, very close to getting everything done now. I've got one more set of 3 to do. By the way, you can always ask me Patreon questions. I'm behind on my Patreon, so absolutely. It's an open conversation around here. But I've got one more set of 3 to do, so to speak, which is going to be like a reward set. And then that means that I can do a cowgirl version of Danny, a cowgirl version of Victoria, bring you guys into the fold for Patreon Chan, or Devil Chan as she's also known. I've showed you some stuff of hers before, and that'll bring us perfectly up to date. So I'm very pleased about all of this. The problem is that the 3 cyberpunk ladies I'm working on have made me actually want to go back to a more anime style and do 3 other cyberpunk characters, but nothing to do with the Cyberpunk 2077 video game. So like, my heart's always pulled in these different directions. I'm really passionate about the idea of doing this whilst I'm currently sitting down and instead doing that, which has basically been my entire life experience of artwork. So we're coming along, in fact, yeah, I just updated Patreon just the other day with like a little kind of, a sneak peek at what we're up to and all that kind of stuff. Screaming Shuriken says, damn, I really wanted that drawing tablet. Sadly, I can't sub with Amazon Prime. Oh, no worries, that happens. We are doing more and more tablet giveaways. At the end of each month, I gave away just another drawing tablet, in fact, at the start of the year on the 1st of January, live on twitch.tv/mikeymegamega, and we'll be doing more as we go forward. Let me just have another sip of this tea. Oh, I know you guys don't care. I've got my food shopping coming a little bit later today because I've run out of milk. So I'm drinking long life soy milk right now. But I quite like it because it's very richly flavoured. As long as we have tea bags, we have hope. Now, I may not be saying your name correctly, but Abinanand Paramedisawaran says, do I really need to study realistic human anatomy for anime drawing? Yo, kind sir, I must be a psychic. I am an oracle of future comments because I've literally just answered your question. Yes, is what I would say. I would strongly recommend it. You don't need to learn every single muscle group and every single thing, but you do need to understand basic human anatomy, just for basic building blocks and the basic shapes that major muscle groups form as they sit on top of the skeleton. Now, if you're drawing your characters all day long wearing big baggy clothes, it's probably going to have less of an effect on you. But understanding a tiny bit of the structure will help you very, very much as you start to expand on your poses and your characters. You'll know what to change, what to keep, and what all of these bumps and curves are trying to actually describe. So yeah, basic human anatomy is definitely what I would put down as being one of like the core pillars of illustration. Drixked says, Mikey is the source. I don't even have to ask for it. Drixked, you're too kind. And Dayslight says, I'm subbed and I have the bell ticked, and literally you never come up on my feed. It's kind of annoying. Anyways, I hope you're well. Amazing image. Glad to see you're still smashing it, mate. Yeah, Dayslight, I'll tell you why that is. By the way, Dayslight, thank you very much. My content on YouTube is always flagged these days. I don't know if they've got a flag on my channel overall. My channel does have like a... So basically, YouTube, you can't trust what they say. I don't want to get like too tinfoil hatty. But YouTube famously tagged all the different channels a long, long time ago as being more appropriate for adverts, less appropriate for certain types of adverts, more likely to contain this type of content, blah, blah, blah. And then they said, no, we certainly don't do that. We base everything video by video. And then somebody who was very good at reading all of the metadata found on all the web page data where the tags were and how they were in fact tagged to all these different categories. YouTube, I would describe them as loving to lie by omission. They love lying by omission. Guys, monetization status has nothing to do with searchability and discoverability of your videos. Well, that's a lie by omission. Those two systems don't talk to each other. A lie by omission because there's a third system which talks to both of them in between. It's like saying me and my friend who live in another country, we don't communicate to each other. We don't have access to each other. But I'm kind of failing to tell you that we both have telephones. And using the magic of telephones, we actually do communicate and affect each other, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so what I'm getting at is that, yeah, a lot of my video content, and I'm not bitching about it. I'm just explaining that this is how it is. A lot of my video content, because it is a bit more spicy, or because a lot of my thumbnails get taken down for having too much cleavage and stuff like that, it all gets basically shadow tagged. So if you search for me, you'll still find my videos. If you search how to draw tutorials, my stuff will come up. But YouTube will never naturally, no, it will happen sometimes. Some of my videos might be fine, but YouTube is far less likely to naturally suggest my videos. If you just browse your YouTube page or check what's being bumped up in your suggested feed, it will very, very rarely be my content, because YouTube is already kind of tagging a lot of what I do to kind of not be overly promoted. And that's just the nature of this terrible, terrible platforming. I've done all my actual moaning about that last year, but that's kind of basically just what's going on in the background. So yeah, you can tickle that stuff, but YouTube is always trying to dictate your behavior by deciding what you are or are not exposed to. But then again, that doesn't really stop me doing exactly what I'm doing. I'm still drawing fic waifus, I'm still hanging out on this godforsaken platform, and enjoying Twitch a little bit more, because it's basically, Twitch is about 3 years behind being as bad as YouTube is today, which means, you know, I can just enjoy it a bit more before it becomes even just as Jimmy Kimmel plain down the middle of a road, boring and creatively dead as this thing is. But, you know, that's just the way of things. Also, Yasmin Kaylee says, day 3 of recommending Danganronpa to Mikey. Please look into playing it. There's 3 games, 1 spin-off, and 2 seasons of an anime with an amazing world building and some very, very schmexy waifus. I have read this comment in the last Draw of Mikey episode. I have read that you were also, again, trying to let me know about Danganronpa. So it's not my fault if you don't catch me reading it. But yeah, I've got your suggestion. I'm not even going to write that down, because I know I've written that down in one of my to-do lists of a previous episode. But thank you very much for caring and giving me those delicious suggestions. If you guys do have suggestions to good content, do let me know. But yeah, Danganronpa's on the list. I still need to watch JoJo's, for God's sake. We'll get there. We'll get there. Sneezy says, hey Mikey. Hello there, Sneezy. Since my comment made it twice in a row, oh my god, now it's free, I'd like to see you draw May Valentine fan art from Yu-Gi-Oh! And as always, much love. Much love to you, Sneezy. May Valentine? Yu-Gi-Oh! Oh, it's Yu-Gi-Oh, isn't it? Now, if you guys are like me, you'll know that you love collecting Yu-Gi-Oh cards, Magic the Gathering cards, and Pokemon cards. They're fantastic. But what I actually like doing is, the moment I pull these cards out of their booster packs, I immediately shred them using Shredder-chan. It's another thing that we do on Twitch. So I'm vaguely aware that Yu-Gi-Oh exists, but I never really remember what's on the cards. They're always shiny. I keep getting like these reflective ones or these nice editions, but it all gets shredded. So I will have to investigate Yu-Gi-Oh! A little bit more first before we start doing the ladies in there. But thank you very much for the suggestion. And Michael O'Hara says, hey Mikey. Hello there, Michael. Do you collect figures or anything of that nature as well? I found it useful to have figures. Not only do they stimulate the senses, but give me a constant 3D reference of all of my busty waifus, and it keeps the mums from visiting, keeps the ladies away. Interesting. Now, in terms of like actual art figures, I used to way back in the day have one of those wooden men. Do you know, just like it was a wooden maquette little guy. He stands on a base on a wooden pole. This is back in the days because my mum used to be a potter. So we had like reference basic stuff. And then I had a little bit of a play with those plastic anime drawing figures. I want to say Bodycon. Bodycon sent me some stuff, but then I don't even think it was the official Bodycon. I think I was getting sent some Chinese knockoff stuff by a different company. I had no idea what I was looking at back then. So I had a play of those, but I don't really use them as such, just because I'm so used to staring at a screen. I believe very strongly in reference materials, but I just have lots of reference images more than figures. But in terms of actual figurines, like, does Mikey collect stuff? Well, mostly no, but a tiny bit of yes. Firstly, I'm currently building the limited edition 1989 Tim Burton Lego Batmobile. It's way bigger than I thought it was. This is another thing we're doing live on Twitch. So that's like the first toy stroke collectible thing that I've had to play with in a really long time. In terms of anime figurines, I have none with the exception of 2. I have a cast bronze, I think it is, robot from Laputa Castle in the Sky, and also a little cast Puerta, or slightly silvery Howl's Moving Castle as well. I've got them both because they're rock solid, they're really nice, and I went to this Ghibli museum years ago. So I was like, look, if I'm ever going to buy something, because I don't naturally buy figures or collectibles or figurines, I kind of focus on stuff that's a bit more directly useful. But don't get me wrong, I'm still a massive collector and I still have that habit. I just do it in terms of manga and collecting art books and other things. So it's not in my natural vocabulary to pick them up. But yeah, I grabbed those ones and actually I really quite loved them. So possibly more figurines in the future, but not too many. I don't personally, and I'm not knocking it because some of them look amazing, I don't personally want a shelf of softcore porn figurines and hyper busty waifus and all that sort of stuff because I don't use them. I don't do anything with them. And I think it's just like, it's not quite an aesthetic that I want in my room. Like, do they look great? Like, I've been to a lot of figurine shops in Japan, because I've been a few times, and they're absolutely fantastic. But it's not the aesthetic that I want in my studio space, personally. But what about you guys? Are you guys all collecting figurines? Am I the only one not doing this? And Rusian says, I just wanted to know your thoughts on using an iPad for drawing, specifically about Procreate. I'll be receiving an Apple Pen soon, but I've not gone and purchased the software. Yo, dude. I will have to come back to you on that one because I'll be playing with my iPad that I mentioned a bit earlier, actually unboxing it and doing a review in a little while. But thank you very much. That's a great heads up. We do need to focus on getting that out there for you so that I can actually have opinions on it. And Chancellor Ellish says, since I failed No Nut November 18 days into December, 18 days in, December will be my redemption month. Wow, did you guys really try to leave your junk alone? Well, I hope that worked for you. I hope everybody had a very good No Nut November and or backup December. But live and let live. I'm too busy getting stuff done to try to make my life more difficult. But maybe it hired everybody's thinking and you all started to become better men as a result. Good for all of you. Good for all of you. Ron Anderson says, this theme song, bro. Oh, yo, yeah, okay. So here's just to wrap up. As you know, every single time that I use the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure meme intro theme song, it always gets copyright struck and I always have to fight it, and it takes 30 days for them to say no, and then you have to pursue it again, and it takes another 30 days of them to finally drop the claim on my video. The Draw of Mikey's always get claimed. And because it used to be a weekly series, it meant that I was having to wait up to 2 months to get one of these done. And in that 2-month period, they're also claiming another 8 videos, so to speak. And it only takes 3 of them to go the wrong way to get your account shut down. The entire Mikey Mega Mega channel terminated on YouTube. Now, it doesn't happen because it is fair use. I use them because I should be allowed to in the terminology that they used and in the situation, because it references something. I won't go into the deep legal side of it. But basically, like, if they decide to say no, it can actually screw me over. So I was just like, right, I'm just going to use a crappy, free-to-use DMCA-free bit of music, whatever. However, now, my delicious friends, now that the DWMs are a little bit more monthly themed, I don't have to go that deep. It might take 2 months to actually get one of these sorted and remove the copyright claims so the studio stop taking all my hard-earned cash, you scumbags, and actually get it all sorted out and available again. But in that period, there'll only be 2 or 3 episodes or up, so it's much less of a natural risk to stopping the overall channel. So yeah, with any luck, this particular episode had the classic JoJo's Bizarre intro, which means whilst you're listening to this episode, right now it's all being claimed by Warner Music Group. They're getting all the money, and in about 2 months' time, I will have finally got them to remove the claim. And because YouTube is such a nightmare, I will never ever be able to fully confirm that I received that money, because they can't quite place where the money then gets sent to your own Google payment accounts. Great. So that's what we're ending on. You guys are absolutely fantastic. Happy New Year. Happy 2021. It's lovely to see you all again. We have a lot of work to do. I'm feeling very pumped, and thank you so much for watching along. On screen, you've seen a load of those delicious patrons on Patreon. If you want to grab my tutorials work pack with all of the physical copies of the stuff we do in the tutorial videos, you can for just $1. Go click the links in the description below. But other than that, I will see you for another episode of DWM in the future. Get in the comments, and in the meantime, many more tutorials, lots of stuff and thing, and I hope you guys have a bloody great day. Take care.